Ready for a deep dive? We're going to be looking at some ancient family drama.
Oh, yeah.
You might think reality TV is a new thing,
Right.
but trust me, the story of Isaac back in Genesis 26 has got it all. Deception, power struggles, and even some envy-inducing well digging.
It's a classic.
It really is.
Like father, like son kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. And it makes you wonder if we ever really break free
Right.
from those patterns of our past.
It's like, are we doomed to repeat the mistakes of our parents?
Well, let's set the stage a bit.
Okay.
Isaac, son of the famous Abraham, he finds himself in Gerar during a famine, and this land is ruled by King Abimelech. Not the same guy that Abraham dealt with, by the way.
Gotcha. Different Abimelech.
Different Abimelech, but still a powerful figure.
Right.
And things get complicated right away.
Oh, boy.
Because Isaac decides to use the same, let's just call it creative strategy that his dad used when it came to his wife, Rebekah.
Oh, yeah. My wife is my sister routine.
You know,
like,
classic.
you'd think Isaac would have learned from his father's almost disastrous experience, but nope, here we are again.
Here we are again.
So what do you make of Isaac pulling this risky move?
It's a real head scratcher. I mean, was he just blindly copying his dad?
Right.
Or could there be something else going on?
Or a little bit of both.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, you have the cultural context.
Yeah.
Right? Ancient societies were pretty patriarchal.
For sure.
And a woman's safety often depended on her male protector.
Yeah.
So maybe Isaac thought claiming to be Rebekah's brother would make her less of a target for,
Right. Less of a target.
for unwanted attention.
That's a good point. You also have to consider
Yeah,
the power dynamics at play.
for sure.
I mean, Abimelech's a king,
Right.
and Isaac, despite his wealth,
Yeah.
is still a newcomer to the region.
New kid on the block.
Exactly. So playing it safe, downplaying his relationship with Rebekah
Right.
might have felt like the best way to avoid provoking the king.
Yeah. Keeping a low profile.
Fly under the radar,
Yeah.
hoping to avoid any drama.
Hoping to avoid the drama, but spoiler alert, it backfires.
Oh, classic.
Abimelech figures out the truth.
Oh,
And he is, shall we say, not amused.
not amused.
What's interesting to me, though, is how he handles it.
Okay.
He doesn't punish Isaac directly,
Yeah.
but he makes it crystal clear that anyone who messes with Isaac or Rebekah
Right.
is going to face some serious consequences.
Yeah, it's almost as if he's saying, look, I get it.
Yeah.
You were trying to protect yourself.
Yeah.
But this kind of deception could blown up in all our faces.
Yeah.
It's a total power move.
It is. It's him reinforcing his authority.
Right.
And
Yeah.
reminding everybody who's in charge.
Who's boss?
But it does raise an interesting question.
Yeah.
What was going through Isaac's mind? I mean, was this just a bad habit?
That he picked up from dear old dad.
Right.
Or was he maybe even trying to test God's protection?
Ooh, testing God. Interesting.
Like Abraham did.
Like father, like son.
Like father, like son.
Right.
Or maybe he just wasn't very good at thinking on his feet.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, we all inherit certain
We do.
tendencies
Yeah.
from our families. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not so good.
Right.
It's like this mix of nature and nurture
Yeah.
playing out in our lives.
And the beauty of these stories, I think,
Yeah.
is that they grapple with these very human struggles,
Right.
even thousands of years later.
Totally.
But Isaac's drama doesn't end there.
Oh,
He faces another challenge that is surprisingly relevant, even in our modern world.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
A fight over water rights.
Oh, wow.
And not just any water.
Okay.
We're talking about wells,
Right.
which were literally lifelines
Yeah.
in this arid region.
You have to understand, in this context.
Wells were more than just a source of water.
Right.
I mean, they represented prosperity,
Yeah.
control over the land.
Uh-huh.
They could even become like flashpoints for conflict.
Kind of like oil fields are a big deal today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Control the resource, control the power.
Control the resource, you control the power.
And we see this play out so vividly
Yeah.
in Isaac's story. He starts redigging wells
Uh-huh.
that his father Abraham had dug,
Right.
which the Philistines had filled in.
Oh, adding insult to injury.
Talk about insult to injury, right?
Yeah.
You can almost feel the tension
Yeah.
as Isaac reclaims his family's legacy, butting heads with the Philistines the whole time.
And the names he gives these wells,
Right.
they tell the whole story.
They really do.
Esek, meaning contention, and Sitna, meaning hatred.
Yeah, you don't need a dictionary
Yeah.
to understand the animosity
Right.
bubbling beneath the surface.
It's like watching a slow motion train wreck.
Right.
You know, and what's really fascinating to me is
Yeah.
These ancient conflicts over water rights, they echo through history.
They do?
I mean, think about what's happening in the Middle East today,
Right.
where access to water is a major source of tension.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that some things never really change.
Some things never change.
Do they?
Right.
It really is crazy how these ancient stories, they can feel so relevant today.
Yeah, it's like they're speaking to us across the centuries.
Oh, wait, there's a glimmer of hope amidst all of this conflict over Wells Isaac. He keeps digging.
Okay.
And finally, he strikes water, this time without any drama.
Peace at last.
No.
What does he name this well?
He names it Rehoboth.
Rehoboth.
Meaning broad places.
Broad places. It's like this huge sigh of relief.
Right.
After all that tension and animosity.
It's like he finally found a place where he could breathe.
Right.
Where there was room for everyone to thrive.
Yeah, a place of abundance.
It's a powerful image. And what's interesting is that this shift from conflict to peace, it happens at the same time as Isaac starts to experience incredible abundance.
Oh, wow.
We're told he has 100-fold harvest.
100-fold? That's amazing.
He's got flocks and herds and servants.
Yeah, he's hitting the jackpot.
He's hitting the jackpot.
It's a total glow up.
But as we know, success can sometimes attract the wrong kind of attention.
Right, right.
And sure enough, Isaac's good fortune starts to rub some people the wrong way.
I wonder who.
The Philistines, they are not happy.
The Philistines? Figures.
The text says that they envied Isaac.
Oh.
And this envy leads to some serious consequences.
Yeah, envy's a powerful emotion.
Even Abimelech, who seemed to respect Isaac earlier,
he
turns on him.
No way.
Asks him to leave Gerar.
So even a king can get caught up in the green-eyed monster.
I guess so.
I mean, it's like that saying, the tallest poppy gets cut down.
It makes you think about the nature of envy and how it can poison even the most promising situations.
Yeah, it's corrosive.
Have you ever experienced that?
Oh, of course.
Either feeling envious yourself or being the target.
Yeah, both sides of that coin.
Of someone else's envy.
I mean, envy, it often comes from a sense of lack or insecurity, and it can lead to resentment.
Right.
Bitterness, even sabotage.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
No, not at all.
In Isaac's case, it seems like Abimelech maybe felt threatened by Isaac's prosperity.
Right, like Isaac's success was somehow diminishing his own...
Yeah, like a zero-sum game.
Exactly.
So he throws Isaac under the bus, basically.
Wow.
To protect his own interests.
It's a pretty cold move.
I know.
Especially after they seem to be on decent terms.
Right.
But then, hold on. Here comes a twist.
Oh, here we go.
A twist that could rival any soap opera.
I love a good plot twist.
Abimelech, he comes back to Isaac, hat in hand.
Really?
Seeking a covenant.
Wow.
Talk about a plot twist.
What changed his mind?
Right. Was it a genuine change of heart? Maybe a realization that he messed up. Or was it more calculated, driven by fear of Isaac's power?
Ooh.
You know, maybe he wants to get back in Isaac's good graces.
Right.
The text, it leaves it open.
I love that ambiguity.
Me too.
It's so human.
Right. We all have these mixed motives.
Right.
Sometimes it's hard to even tell our own hearts.
Let alone someone else's.
Exactly.
But despite the uncertainty, they do end up making a covenant.
Okay.
Complete with a feast and oaths.
They're going all in. It's like hitting the reset button.
And those rituals, they weren't just for show.
No, not at all.
Covenants, I mean, they were serious business in the ancient world.
Oh, yeah.
They were binding agreements, often with solemn oaths.
Right.
And symbolic gestures that carried real weight.
It was like signing a contract, but with way higher stakes.
It really was. It makes you wonder if they had a deeper understanding of the power of commitment and accountability than we do today.
Interesting thought.
But even with this newfound peace, there's a hint of trouble on the horizon.
Uh-oh, what now?
Remember Esau?
Isaac's son.
Isaac's son.
Yeah.
He marries Hittite women.
Oh, boy.
Much to the dismay of his parents.
This might seem like a small detail, but it has huge implications.
Right.
Marrying outside the covenant lineage, that was a major taboo back then.
Why is that?
Well, they were concerned about religious syncretism.
Religious syncretism, what's that?
It's the blending of different belief systems.
Oh, okay.
which was seen as a threat to the purity of their faith.
I see. So marrying outside the group could bring in outside ideas.
Exactly.
And that was a big no-no.
It really was.
It's like this family feud waiting to happen.
Right. You can feel the tension building.
Oh, yeah.
Between Esau and his brother Jacob.
Who stayed firmly within the family tradition.
Right. Within the fold.
And if you know the rest of Genesis, you know that this tension eventually explodes into this full-blown rivalry that shapes the destiny of their descendants. It's all connected.
It's amazing how these personal choices can just ripple through generations.
Yeah, it's like a butterfly effect.
It makes you think about the impact that our own decisions have on the people around us, not just now, but in the future.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It is a lot of responsibility.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's just appreciate what we've learned in this deep dive into Genesis 26.
What have we uncovered?
We've seen deception, power dynamics, the struggle for resources, the destructive nature of envy.
The complexities of human relationships.
Absolutely.
And the importance of covenants.
It's a story packed with insight.
It really is.
Into human nature and the challenges of living in a world where faith and politics often collide.
It's also a story about resilience. Despite all of his flaws and the setbacks he faces. Isaac ultimately perseveres.
He does.
He experiences God's blessing in some pretty remarkable ways. Even when things look bleak. And that brings us to a final question for you.
Okay.
What does Isaac's story tell us about the nature of faith and the possibility of overcoming difficult circumstances?
It's a question worth pondering.
Yeah. Despite the challenges, Isaac continued to trust. In God's promises, he kept digging those wells. He kept seeking those broad places where he could flourish.
And ultimately, his persistence paid off.
It did.
It's a reminder that even when we stumble, even when we face setbacks, we can always choose to keep moving forward.
We can.
We can choose to keep trusting that something better is waiting for us on the other side of the struggle. You know, before we sign off, though, I want to go back to something that really struck me in this story. Isaac's incredible harvest. I mean, he sowed in that land, and he received 100-fold return.
100-fold. That's amazing.
I mean, that's not just a green thumb. That's like a divine green light.
Certainly speaks to the fertility of the land. I mean, this is the land promised to Abraham and his descendants. A land flowing with milk and honey, as it's described.
But it also makes you wonder about the agricultural practices.
Right. What were they doing back then?
Yeah. I mean, were they ahead of their time in some way? Did they have advanced irrigation techniques? Or some kind of crop rotation methods that we've just lost to history?
It's a fascinating thought.
It is.
And perhaps just as we see the hand of God in that abundant harvest, we also see the ingenuity and the hard work of Isaac and his people.
Right. So it's this beautiful interplay.
Exactly.
Between human effort and divine blessing.
Yeah. A kind of cosmic partnership.
Yeah, like we're called to be good stewards of what we're given. But ultimately, the true flourishing, it comes from something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. And just as that abundant harvest, it brought its own set of challenges.
Oh, yeah, right. The envy and the conflict.
It reminds us that even the greatest blessings can sometimes lead to unexpected difficulties.
It's like a cosmic balancing act.
Right.
I guess maybe it's a reminder that success without humility and gratitude, it can be a very slippery slope.
For sure.
Kind of makes you rethink.
It does.
That whole idea that more is always better, doesn't it?
It really does. And it highlights the importance of generosity.
How so?
When we recognize that our blessings ultimately come from a source beyond ourselves, we're more likely to share them, use them for the benefit of others.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Genesis 26, I'm left with this sense of awe.
I hear you.
At how much we can learn from these ancient stories.
They're not just dusty tales from the past.
They're full of timeless wisdom.
Wisdom that can help us navigate our own lives today.
It's like we're holding up a mirror to our own hearts.
Yeah.
We journey with Isaac through deception, the power struggles, the fight for resources.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, his moments of grace and resilience.
And I hope you, dear listener, you'll continue to explore these themes. Look up the meanings of those well names.
Right.
Ponder the motivations of the characters.
Yeah.
Consider how these ancient echoes...
They reverberate in your own life.
They do.
Who knows what other hidden treasures
Right.
you might uncover.
It's a journey of discovery.
And on that note,
okay,
we'll bid you farewell.
So long.
Until next time, keep seeking those broad places in your own life, and may your harvest be plentiful.
Be plentiful indeed.